Hey, I'm Jim, and this is the recap episode for the Star-Lord Mask one-day build. I got a great response from the video, and thank you all so much for your comments and suggestions. But there were also a lot of questions. So I'm hoping I can answer as many of your questions as I can at once with this video. Just kind of going over a little bit more into detail some of the aspects that I kind of glazed over during the first video. I was trying to condense several hours of footage into just, 15 minutes or so. So I kind of did gloss over some of the stuff. But yeah, hopefully I can answer some of your questions and clear up some things. And yeah, so let's kind of go into it. First off, I had several comments about what were the black and white pieces on the side of the helmet and how did I attach those. All it is it's a piece of plastic. Actually, it's a styrene sheet. These are often used for like architectural building and stuff like that. You can find them in most hobby stores. Michaels should carry it, or any hobby place that sells like model trains and that kind of thing. They come in various thicknesses, and this is like a variety pack. Came with a bunch of different thicknesses. It's just pieces of plastic. This is the one I think I used. It was kind of one of the heavier gauges. And all I did was just cut some pieces to extend the mask a little bit. And I just glued it to the inside of the mask. I didn't make any precise measurements, really. I just wanted to extend it out a little bit and give something that I can glue the earpiece on. And all this is a piece of craft foam that you can find at Michael's or any craft store, really. And you can kind of see that on the first video. It goes into, you can see me kind of cutting it out, the earpiece and stuff, and just hot glued it. Almost everything on here, if it wasn't applied directly to it using the putty, then it was mostly just hot glued for time. Except for the eye lenses here. I used like a super glue gel that dries a little quicker. When I go into the eye pieces, that was another big question. Initially, I was going to use the visor as the same element that I can look out of. I was just going to paint everything except for eye holes and then add the little lens pieces. However, when I was in the process of it, I'd already put it on, I realized that that lens was really cloudy and kind of hard to see through. Not all of the child helmet masks or visors were like that. I had other ones that were much clearer. I probably should have used that one, but I had already glued this one and applied it. So I wound up cutting out eye holes, and I did that using a heat knife just because I had already applied it to the mask, and that was the easiest and cleanest way for me to do it. Not everybody has access to a heat knife, so I would suggest if you're going to put the visor on the mask first, to pre-drill out the holes if your mask is too cloudy or whatever, and you can't really see through it that well. The lenses are just clear transparencies that I had. I just cut them out and stuck them in the back of the mask. So as you can see too, I've got this, one of them's kind of red. I didn't feel that the LEDs that I used were bright enough. They were from that cheap child's bracelet. I have gotten some comments that people have used LEDs that are so bright that they're kind of blinding. I would suggest, just maybe looking for cheaper LEDs. If you can't find that child's bracelet, you could probably find some other LED device or something in a dollar store or Dollar Tree or something that you can use. But I would definitely suggest using an orange light because that won't blind you as bad. They're usually not as bright and they won't mess with your night vision. So when you're wearing it, you're not kind of disoriented, or when you take the mask off, you're not affected by the bright light. So in order to kind of make mine pop out a little bit more, I just cut out some red gel material and just popped it in the lens there. And then that kind of gave it a little bit more of that orange, reddish kind of glow when I turned my lights on. People wanted more of a material breakdown. In the future, I'll be more mindful of the materials that I use and kind of breaking things down and making a list. For this particular build, I was kind of just using parts and everything that I had on hand. You know, I keep a lot of PVC, a lot of junk, basically, in my shop, and so I kind of always have a lot of these parts on hand. But for this particular build, the little breather parts are made up of, I believe, 3 different PVC pieces. The larger area here, that piece, was a 3/4 inch coupling used to connect 3/4 inch pipe. So the diameter is actually a little larger than 3/4 inch because it fits a 3/4 inch pipe into it. It connects the two of them. I cut mine down. As you can see, it's not, this is the size of the actual part. And mine, I probably cut it down to about 1.25 inches. And then for the end piece here, that it kind of reduces a bit to give it that look. I used a female adapter. This is another plumbing part. I think this is 1.25 inches. And then all I did was just cut the tip of it off and glued it onto the edge of this piece. Then this other back piece is a piece of 3/4 inch PVC that just fit right into the coupling, and then I capped it off, believe it or not, with the plastic weld. Again, that's the plastic weld that I used by JB Weld. I always save the tubes when I use this stuff. When I use it up, I save the tubes and the caps because I'll often use them for different things, whatever. So the cap then was the end piece for the mask, and then I cleaned it all up, all the edges with the plastic weld. I just molded it and smoothed it out, sculpted to kind of give it that rounded out look. Metal tubing and stuff, the aluminum tubes. The ones that I used for this particular build were from a company called K&S Precision Metals. Again, you can find these basically in any hobby store, especially if it's like a model trains or anything like that, or model building. And they come in various sizes, various lengths, and you can buy them sometimes in a variety pack. Again, I have a bunch kind of lying around in the shop, and so that's what I used for this piping and for part of this piping. Anytime you see a bend, like down here or on here, I just used aluminum wire. It's aluminum armature wire. You can find it in an art supply store or Michael's, or but yeah, it's armature wire, and it comes again in various diameters and thicknesses. So yeah, again, I have a bunch lying around. I'll probably do a video in the future where I kind of discuss some of the materials that I always keep on hand and some of the tools that I always use. For this particular build, you saw me use other tools, the grinder and the saw and stuff, but you could use just a rotary tool and a hot glue gun. I think to pretty much do this build, you might need a drill, but you could probably do it with your rotary tool. But I'm trying to think some other things. The back of the helmet, I attached it. All I did was shoot a screw through both parts to create a hinge. I just, and it's just a short screw with a nut on it to allow it to kind of go on the head more easily. Again, these were just metallic wall anchors that you can get at any hardware store. I guess I can go into some of the paints that I used. Some people comment on the paints that I used. I used a few different kinds of paint. Let's see. For all of the metallic pieces, the eye pieces, the bridge of the nose, this piece here. This piece here, actually, in the video, you don't see me sculpt it. I'm just painting it. But this was sculpted out of the plastic weld also, this whole piece down here. And then, like I said, this piece, all of the pieces around the eyes was all done using the plastic weld. And then I also used it to kind of clean up some of the edges and pieces, do a little bit of the detailing here, and fill in any holes that were still left in the mask. But all of this was painted using Games Workshop Citadel paints. I think this one's called Lead Belcher. It's got kind of like a used metal look to it, which I thought worked perfectly for this. I have a bunch of old model paints and stuff. And then I used a couple of different spray paints. I used a Rust-Oleum metallic gold for the faceplate and for the sides and stuff too. And then I dry brushed with another metallic paint to kind of muddy it up and dirty it up. Same thing with the earpieces. And then the rest of it I used, I think there was one called a gunmetal gray that I gave it kind of a coat of to kind of muddy up some of the areas. And then I gave it a coat of another Rust-Oleum metallic. It was kind of almost like a charcoal gray. It was a really dark gray, but it had flecks of metallic kind of in it. So it kind of has a neat kind of sparkle or whatever when the light hits it. It looks like kind of it's made out of metal. And they both dry really quickly, actually, those metallic paints from Rust-Oleum. And the model paints dry pretty quickly too also. So if you want to build it in a hurry, if you're going to build it in a day, then those will probably work out great for you. Some other things, little details, I guess, like the little brass pieces that you see, because basically, I didn't bend the tubing. That's two separate tubes. And then all I did was there's a piece of wire between them to kind of make them rigid so it's not so loose. And then I put these caps on, and all that is another plumbing part, and it's this, which is some compression sleeves. But again, I keep a couple different packages of these compression sleeves lying around. They're kind of great. They're neat for when you're doing like something steampunk or in that kind of vein to help detail or highlight certain things. And then also the outside lens piece for the eyes was a plastic washer, another plumbing part, a lot of plumbing parts, mostly because they're usually pretty cheap. And you can modify them to make them look like other things. But yeah, this is, it says washer for plastic tubing. And they come in a few different diameters. The ones I used, I think, for this particular one, these are a little bit bigger. These are 1 1/4. The ones I think that I used were 1 inch or 3/4 to 1 inch. Yeah, they just kind of went like that. They're really lightweight. Once I painted them gray, I thought they kind of helped capture that look that was on the mask pretty well. Yeah, I don't know I think that's just about it. If you guys have any other questions or concerns or whatever, or ideas for future builds, go ahead and keep leaving me comments. I'm going to try and do these, as I said, as often as possible. I'm hoping to have one maybe in the next week or two. Yeah, if there's anything, I can't think of anything else. Guess that's it.